Hello guys, Aris, Hardware Bastards. AMD finally released the most affordable of the RX 6000 line member, the RX 6700 XT. This card is fully capable of QHD or 1440p gaming with high refresh rates, and it also supports real-time ray tracing. We are still waiting for AMD's FidelityFX Super Resolution, or FSR in short, which will be the answer to Nvidia's DLSS technology, allowing for high refresh rates with ray tracing enabled thanks to the upscaling of lower resolution images. Only once FSR is released, and of course given that it's effective, because none of the RX 6000 cards features tensor cores, aka dedicated hardware for AI, AMD will be able to meet eye-to-eye Nvidia. A quick look at the specifications. The RX 6700 XT debuts the Navi 22 Silicon, which is a smaller version of the Navi 21 that the big members of the RX 6000 line use. It packs 40 RDNA 2 compute units, 2560 stream processors and 40 ray accelerators. GPU and memory clocks. The clocks that the Navi 22 GPU achieves are amazingly high, reaching 2700 MHz under boost. The available RAM, GDDR6 type, is large at 12 GB, but the memory interface bandwidth is limited to 192 bits, while the big Navi GPUs have 256-bit memory bandwidth. There is also the Infinity Cache L3 memory with 96 MB size and a crazy high data rate of 1.5 TB per second. Board power limits. The default power limit is at normal levels and you cannot increase it much. Moreover, its minimum level is quite high. The price according to AMD is $480, so it is $20 cheaper than the official price of the Nvidia RTX 3070 and $80 more expensive than the RTX 3060 Ti. Don't expect, of course, to find anything in this price range, since street prices are way higher. The AMD RX 6700 XT reference card has relatively small dimensions and the cooler is all metal. The backplate is also metallic and of high quality. Compared to some RTX 3070 cards, AMD's new card looks small and it also has lower weight, so it won't punish your mainboard. The card is equipped with 3 DisplayPort 1.4 ports and a single HDMI 2.1 port. For power input, it uses one 8-pin and one 6-pin socket. The cooling solution uses a copper block and 3 heat pipes. There are thermal pads to allow better contact to the memory modules and the card's VRMs. AMD now talks in its reviewer's guide for graphite-based thermal interface material for the GPU chip for high performance and maximum reliability. But in my eyes, this looks like a normal thermal conductive paste. The backplate is metallic and besides protecting the card's PCB, it will also help in heat dissipation. The cooling fans are by Delta Electronics and are of super high quality, and they use double ball bearings, so they will have increased lifetime even under high operating temperatures. A look at the PCB. The Navi 22 GPU uses 7 nanometers lithography as its predecessor, the Navi 10, and it packs 17.2 billion transistors and its dimensions are notably smaller than the Navi 21 Silicon. For the GPU's power needs, 9 power phases are used, controlled by an international rectifier IC. Its power phase utilizes a VSA SiC 649A integrated power stage IC, able to deliver up to 50 amperes of current. 2 VRMs using one VSA SIC632A each handle the RAM modules. These VRMs are handled by an on-semiconductor digital controller. Samsung makes the DDR6 memory chips, which are rated at 16 GBps. Test system. I use a strong CPU to ensure that there will be minimum bottleneck at HD resolutions. All games are installed onto a fast NVMe drive and I get multiple readings from each game, from 3 up to 6 in some cases, and I use the average results. The PSU is powerful and of super high quality to handle every VGA out there, and I always use the latest drivers. Gaming performance. Assassin's Creed Odyssey HD. Unveil Next 2 engine by Ubisoft using GX11, an old enough game engine which is still quite demanding though, and this is an AMD optimized game. Console. Northlight engine by Remedy Entertainment utilizing DirectX 12. It also supports DirectX 11. And it supports RTX and DLSS, which I don't use in these tests. Death Stranding. Decima engine in DirectX 12. It is not a heavy game and I don't find it so exciting since your objective is to transport objects between locations. Doom Eternal. ID Tech 7 engine by ID Software using the Vulkan API. The game is highly optimized and it has good graphics and lots of enemies. Far Cry New Dawn. Dunya engine using DirectX 11, not so demanding but you cannot call it light either. Interesting game for open world and first person shooter fanatics. Metro Exodus 4A engine utilizing the DirectX 12 API. The game supports both Raytracing and DLSS, which I have deactivated for the following tests. It also includes a benchmark. Without DXR, it is not super taxing despite the top-notch graphics, since the engine is well optimized. With DXR enabled and without DLSS, things change for sure. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It uses the Foundation engine, which takes advantage of DirectX 12, supporting both RTX and DLSS. I didn't use any ray tracing features in the following benchmark. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the famous Unreal Engine 4 combined with the DirectX 11 API. This looks to be a console port, still the graphics look nice. Nvidia cards have a notable lead here. Raytracing performance, Control and Metro Exodus. In the following tests, I ran Control and Metro Exodus in 3 resolutions and 2 modes per resolution, with Raytracing off and Raytracing enabled without DLSS, since AMD cards don't have something similar. As you can see, the 6700 XT stays far behind in all tests compared to the Nvidia RTX 3070s. It doesn't have the required hardware for ray tracing or strong enough hardware as it seems. Performance difference with smart memory access or SAM enabled. SAM enables the CPU to access the entire video card memory over the PCI Express highway, removing certain bandwidth bottlenecks, thus increasing overall performance. The idea is that by mapping more memory you can get higher data transfer, which leads to increased frame rates. As expected, the performance gain depends on the game engine and the resolution. In general, the gains are higher in lower resolutions. Nvidia will also enable this feature in its cards under its official name, which is resizable bar. Bar means base address register. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the performance gain is 17% at HD, 13.6% at QHD, and 7.9% at UHD, so it is quite high in general. Don't expect the same high performance gains though in all games. Rendering performance in DaVinci Resolve. The AMD card cannot compete with the Nvidia 3070s when it comes to rendering performance in DaVinci Resolve at least. I used the AMD codec and the result was disappointing. Operating temperatures. The Radeon card's cooling system cannot compete with the Nvidia cards that I tested so far, especially in rendering, gaming and extreme scenarios like fair mark when it comes to GPU temperatures. Operating noise with the fans of the card at full speed 70% and 50%. Operating noise. The Radeon RX 6700 XT has the fan stop feature, so you won't hear it while on desktop. In multimedia playback it is dead silent as well. In gaming and rendering it gets noisy, quite noisy I could say, and strangely enough the fan speed is quite low during Fairmark because of the lower GPU clock speeds compared to gaming and rendering scenarios. All in all, this is not a silent operating graphics card. Coil whine. There is coil whine noise, especially in games with no FPS limiter, in the menus and startup screens. The worst case scenario is Doom Eternal, where coil whine gets crazy in the game menu. In general, you should expect coil whine issues in not so demanding games in HD resolution where frames can get high. DisplayPort issue. A weird issue that I noticed. I have an XPG NVMe drive installed in the slot closest to the CPU socket in my MSI Unify Z490 mainboard. With an HDMI cable connected to the Radeon card, everything was fine. The moment I connected a DisplayPort cable, the system couldn't see the NVMe drive anymore, so it booted directly to the BIOS. I tried every possible BIOS setting and nothing worked. This was a huge problem. In the end, the problem proved to be the DisplayPort cable itself. I changed the cable and everything was fine. This is the first time I see a video cable creating such an issue. Power consumption is low in all cases, but with two monitors connected to the card and while gaming with VSync at 60Hz option enabled. In general, the RX 6700 XT is not a power-hungry card. Relative performance. The following charts are with the sizable bar enabled for the AMD card. Unfortunately, this option wasn't available for the 3070 cards the moment I conducted the corresponding tests. With HD resolutions, the Radeon is very close to the 3070 cards. It clearly loses though in QHD resolutions, which are this card's main area. Finally, the performance difference gets smaller with UHD, and this is strange. I expected a larger difference in these resolutions. I ran multiple UHD tests and the results were always the same. I guess I was lucky with my AMD sample. Performance per watt. The Navi 22 is highly efficient, so the RX 6700 XT performs great here. Overclocking. The overclock gain is not so high, although I notably increased both GPU boost and RAM clocks by 243 and 150 MHz respectively. Cooling system performance. 10 minutes of Fairmark with 30 and 35 dBA noise output. All cooling systems output precisely the same noise and can be directly compared. The cooling system of the AMD card doesn't look to hold so well compared to the Nvidia cards. The differences in temperatures are high, but this is the case also with the GPU speeds. which are much higher for the AMD card. Conclusion. If you are not interested in ray tracing, the AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT is a great card for QHD gaming or high frame rate HD gaming. It can even handle 4K gaming with some compromises in quality. The major assets of this card, besides good performance, which is close to the RTX 3070 levels, always with ray tracing disabled, are the high energy efficiency, the compact dimensions, the 12GB video RAM and the solid build quality. On the downside, it doesn't have a strong cooling system, so it will get noisy during gaming. The main problem here is good luck finding one to buy, and another issue is that if its price is similar to an Nvidia 3070, you better get the latter because it is stronger and with much better ray tracing capabilities. Pros: high performance close to the RTX 3070, highly efficient card aka low power consumption, high build quality including a metallic backplate, fan stop feature, smart access memory or resizable bar which offers notable gains especially in HD resolutions, 12GB of RAM, HDMI 2.1 port, PCI Express 4, AMD FidelityFX open source API, 7nm lithography, high quality cooling fans from Delta Electronics and compact dimensions. Cons: price won't be anywhere close to the official one, small official price difference with the RTX 3070, nowhere to be found, large performance loss with ray tracing enabled, can get noisy during gaming, not so strong cooling solution, no DLSS response yet from AMD, high multi-monitor power consumption and small overclocking gains. This was another review from Hardware Busters International. Stay tuned in our channel for more, subscribe, enable notifications and see you in one of our next videos. Bye bye!